So yeah, in this tutorial I'll show you how to make dreadlocks, and it's really extremely simple. It's not difficult. So I'm gonna show you how it is done. So like as this character, you know, Android with dreads, a dreadlock. Cool. So file, I'm gonna do a new scene. General. What should I do? Don't save it. And delete default cube, and then I'm going to add a plane, like this plane. It's a plane. Okay, cool. So it's a plane, and now what I'm going to do is I am going to add a particle system. Particle system. Add a here. So you add click the plus button here, and I add here system. Right now there's too much here. Here. So I'm gonna decrease this to like 1. Yeah, maybe just give you one lock and show you how it's done, right? And then make sure that my source is at faces. You can use vertices, so you have your faces, your verts, and your volume. So if you have like an object, you can make the volume emit the here are particles, like normal particle systems. Cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some children. Everybody needs children. Children makes the world go round. Yeah, it does actually, because we all have to die someday. But yeah. So I'm gonna click simple. So here is my here, right here. You see? And then I'm gonna turn this up to about, I'm gonna give myself 60 people, 60 children, sorry. Yeah, so 60 children. And now a very important is these two areas here, your render and your viewport display. So I'll turn open render, and I'm going to open my viewport display, right? So my viewport display, and then what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to make my viewport display my strand steps. These are, each here is like a spline. So if I add more steps, it means that there are more points within the spline that can be manipulated and change around. So I'm going to make this like, click here, I'm going to type in 7. So it's like 7, really good, because 7 is a really good number, right? And then a very important point is that these two should match. Alright, this can be greater. The render can always be greater than the viewport display. But if you want to see what the render has, then these numbers can be equal. But this number here must be greater than this number, or equal to this number, if you really want to see the finished result. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to click, and I'm going to make it 7. So it's 7, right? And then now what I'm going to do is, a very important point is I am going to go to my kink. Go get kink. Well, no, not bad kink, but yeah, I'm going to kink here, right? Yeah, so I will go to my kink, and then with my kink, I'm going to make this kink braid. So now it's like a braid, so you see it like overlaps on itself like this. And then the pretty cool part is this. I want to make sure that I'm going to add some noise. So roughness, right here, roughness. I'm going to open my roughness, and I'm going to add random. I'm going to turn this up to a good set. Not too much, but a good set. So I'll make it like that. Yeah, so now it should look like a dreadlock, No, it doesn't, because if we look at a dreadlock, this doesn't look like a dreadlock. So I remember it's like, so what am I doing wrong? There has to be a way, because Blender is super power, is a really good thing, a really good program. Blender can do everything, Yeah. So I was like, what can I do? So I started to play around, and then this little friend here, your size, is very, 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 very important, very important. So what I did is then you turn this down and watch the magic. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Now that is a dreadlock. So if you look at dreadlock, that is a dreadlock. And then what we can do is, our amplitude right now is a little too large. We can turn down our amplitude a little bit. The amplitude is just how big these are like the wave is how big it is like that. So these top parts, your amplitude, so we want to make this a little smaller and make it a little closer together. And we have it there. And then another thing is we want to make our frequency to maybe, let's say 20. Yeah, and it should make it a little more tighter within the lock, you know, because locks are usually tight. Yeah. Yeah. So 20, I'm gonna leave it there, and then this is a lock. See, it's so simple, it's not difficult, but I don't know why was it so hard to find tutorials on this, but yeah, I guess I just had to make it myself. So what else we can do is we can also look at our um our child. Where's my children? Oh, we can add a clump because you know clump makes things cool. We can just make it a little clumpy. Yeah, and then voila, we have a lock. And also what is important is if it is that you're doing something and it's a little too big, like you know, you did the hair and it's a little too large, you can always play around with your radius here for your children. So if it's too large like that. So what if you want to do a lock and you want it to be, because usually they come from, you know, if you have your scalp, you have, like this is your scalp, you would have a lot of hair contributes from different areas of the scalp contributes to this one thing. So you can make it here, your radius, you could turn it up a little bit and then you have it there. But what you can see is that because it's at the end, it looks kind of weird. So you just need to make sure that you know what you're doing. And yeah, your roundness, you can play with this also. But I think, yeah, you don't really want to play around with that too much because you look, the hair is coming off of off the mesh, so you don't really want to play with that too much because it'll mean that the person here is like coming off. And then we want to make sure that these numbers are high, so I can put 100 there. So if it is that the lock is looking a little too, you know, scanty, you can just add more children, right? And then what you can do is you have your size, you know, you can make it, yeah, you can make it larger, you know, random, but I won't do much. And then, yeah, voila, you have it. So just make sure now that your render, you can put your spline on, you put your render, and your render steps must be higher than maybe like 6, 7 to 10 are is like ideal. But then the higher you go, just remember the more RAM it uses and it would impact your your rendering. So what else I can show you is that when you render, you will realize that maybe the right here, this area, it becomes really light. Like you can see through it. It doesn't retain this shape. Like it becomes pointy. So we know we can go to our hair shape. We can, but this right now the root is too big. So usually I put my root at like 2. No, sorry, not 2. At like 0.23 or 0.25, which is kind of ideal. And then this is strand shape. You need to turn it all the way down or anywhere between -1 and 0. So if you want it to decay, you know, have to become lighter. But if you go to 1 or at 0 is not good. It doesn't look good. So what I can do is pretty cool. Is that now I can go back to my object, and I learned this the other day, which is really amazing. Is I can turn this off. Oh no, turn it off, and then I'm gonna just, let me see. Let me just subdivide this a little bit. I'm gonna give myself maybe like about maybe 10. Yeah, and then what I'm gonna do is maybe just I'm gonna go to front view. Yeah, I'm gonna go to scalp mode. G, F, and I'm just gonna make this into a scalp. You know, just a scalp. Really simple, dirty, not dirty scalp, because Yeah, you probably need some shampoo, but just like a scalp, so you could understand how it's made, how it's done, and how I did my android with her hair style. But yeah, I'm from Barbados, the Caribbean. The Caribbean, we have a lot of people called Rastas, and Rastas are the ones who usually wear their hair in this style. We call it dreadlocks. Yeah, and it's usually for more like African, but I think it was mostly in India. There's a tribe of people in India that actually have this sort of hairstyle. But yeah, but this is usually in the Caribbean. So when you hear dreadlocks, you think about Rasta in Jamaica or in other parts of the Caribbean. So I'm gonna show you do this really quickly. Object W W W W shade smooth, and then I am going to go to particle edit here. This is add your particle. Then I go N, click N to bring up this sidebar. My count, I'm going to turn this to 1, right? I could take interpolated. Steps are okay, keys are okay. I go to options. I'm going to try this again. X mirror, a topology mirror. So that when I add it here, it should, I'm not sure it's going to work this time, but it should mirror on the side. So I'm going here, there, and this is how to add your locks to the scalp. So like there. Yeah, it didn't work this time, but that's no problem. But paths, remember paths for our children. We're going to put this up to like 6, and our children. So here is our lock, our dreadlock. There. And then, yeah. Here, and then here, and then you can add your locks like this. So you don't want to paint, don't paint. Just click one point, just to add it, right? Just to add it. So you don't want to paint. And then what you can do next is you go to your comb, make it bigger, and you can just comb it, and you have your locks. It's really just simple. It's not like secret knowledge, even though there wasn't much. And yeah, so basically this is it. And then you could add another particle system to your scalp, and then you can have hair around here. So you don't need to make a mesh. You can just use the hair as it is, the hair system. So if you, hopefully you understood what I was saying. Hopefully I didn't speak too fast for you. And if it is, you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. Or if you need me to elucidate or to explain any other stuff, anything else, you can just tell me. And yeah, so look forward to more tutorials in the future, and this is Stefan Ford signing out. So bye bye.